Across to our correspondent in Washington, Kate Fisher. Kate, thank you for being with us. How is Donald Trump's performance being received in Washington?
Well, I think the general consensus among many analysts here is that actually this was a better outcome for Kim Jong-un rather than President Trump. They suggest that Kim Jong-un got just what he wanted out of this, to be seen on the world stage alongside the American president, to be seen as something of a statesman on an equal footing as the US president. A lot of analysts saying that what did Donald Trump get out of it? Not much more than a few promises on a piece of paper, promises that the North Koreans have made in the past and have also broken in the past. The Democrat Party here in the US certainly not happy with the outcome. Senate Minority Leader Senator Chuck Schumer, a leading Democrat here, saying that this is very worrisome, that it is such an imprecise agreement, saying that what the US has gained is vague and unverifiable at best, but North Korea has gained something tangible and lasting. We've legitimized a brutal dictator who starved his own people. And it's not just the Democrats who are critical of this. Senator Marco Rubio, a Republican, tweeted that Kim Jong-un is not a talented guy. President Trump had referred to him as talented. In fact, he says he is a total weirdo. So that was a Republican senator's view. As for the average American, well, last night when this historic handshake took place here in the US, it was around 9 p.m. Local time, and the ABC TV network actually interrupted their popular entertainment show, The Bachelorette, to show viewers this historic handshake, and they got a huge backlash on social media. Americans saying, "Stop interrupting my favourite show. I'm not interested in what is happening in Singapore."
How can you interrupt The Bachelorette? Kate, what about the human rights abuses? Let's remember that there are documented cases of gross human rights violations in North Korea, and Donald Trump seems to have, de-emphasized that completely.
Yeah, absolutely. He really hasn't touched upon any of this during his preamble to this summit, and we understand it was only brought up in a very small way during their meeting. And contrast that with the way he's referred to the Iranian regime in his rhetoric, where he has criticised their alleged human rights abuses to their own people. But when it came to Kim Jong-un, he hasn't mentioned that at all. Also contrast that with January of this year, when he gave his State of the Union address to the nation. And during that address, which was just a few months ago, he called Kim Jong-un a depraved dictator and did document his human rights abuses. Fast forward to June of this year, and he's calling him talented and a great guy. Human rights organizations here in the US are outraged by the fact that it was not made a large part of these negotiations, and the president was asked about it in the press conference after the meeting, and he acknowledged that there were issues, but said it was rough. Some of the things were rough over there, but it is rough in a lot of places across the world, he said. And he kind of gave a suggestion that it would be looked at in the future. But it was very vague and certainly did not do anything to assuage the concerns of many people here in the US and all human rights organizations.
So a complete change in rhetoric. Very quickly, Kate, is anyone going deeper and looking at the Iranian deal, which he disregarded, which led to almost the eradication of enriched uranium, and he said that achieved nothing, but has he not actually achieved even less here?
Yeah, that's right. This just very short agreement, in contrast to that huge multi hundreds and hundreds of pages in the Iran nuclear deal, which took years of painstaking negotiations to organise, but did result in around 95% of that enriched uranium actually being shipped out of the country. So there was a tangible result in that. And as you say, this short agreement, there was absolutely no detail about a timeline, verification methods. We still don't even know how much nuclear material that North Korea has. There was no demand on them to tell the rest of the world what weapons they actually have. So a very different situation, but President Trump is saying he is a very different president. He has a different administration from the previous one. The Iran deal was an Obama administration deal. He does things differently, and he says he will achieve this because of who he is.
All right, thank you very much, US correspondent Kate Fisher for us. Well, world powers have welcomed the summit. Some